Hello Neighbor was supposed to be the next big indie horror hit. The alphas were blowing up. YouTubers were obsessed. Fans were convinced the game was building toward something legendary. But when the final version released, something went wrong. Instead of becoming the next big horror game, it became one of the most confusing disappointments in indie gaming. Today we're taking a deep, structured look at why Hello Neighbor failed and its incredible alphas, what went wrong along the way, and why Hello Neighbor 3 might actually be franchise one shot at redemption. We'll also highlight one group that kept the game alive, even when the official releases struggled: the modding community. Let's begin. Chapter 1: The Great Alphas. If you didn't experience the early alpha days firsthand, it's hard to understand how exciting they were. YouTubers and streamers from across the world came and enjoyed it. Everyone was playing it, and everyone was getting millions of views. But it wasn't because the alphas were polished. They weren't polished at all. In fact, that's why players love them. The alphas gave them a sense of freedom, mystery, and raw unpredictability. You could break windows, glitch through walls, bait the neighbor into traps, and explore the house however you wanted. They knew it would be more polished in the release, right? Anyways, the atmosphere was eerie and grounded, just a normal house with a strange man living next door. It felt like an escape room mixed with a stealth horror sandbox. And the best part? The game barely told you anything. You spawned in and figured stuff out yourself. This created a special kind of engagement. People weren't just playing the game, they were investigating it, theorizing, sharing discoveries. The first two alphas, and even the third, were fantastic, and the franchise heart was sealed in those early builds. Chapter 2: A Sudden Identity Shift. But as development continued, something changed. Slowly at first, then dramatically. The first interesting, engaging, simple to understand stealth experience from the alphas started turning into something else entirely. Levels became surreal, the rooms were oversized, puzzles were bizarre, entire sections happened inside of dream worlds. It wasn't a more polished game. If anything, it was a more buggy game, and it was confusing. Now, the alphas, the good ones at least, were, yes, confusing, but they weren't as confusing as later builds of the game. The fans felt the shift in development. It's not the surreal horror is bad. Games like Little Nightmares prove it can work, but Hello Neighbor never told players the tone was changing. People were expecting break into your neighbor's house and uncover a real mystery. Simple enough, right? Instead, they got navigate abstract nightmare world to floating platforms and subtle metaphors. The grounded creepiness was gone. They made parkour a main focus, even though the game's mechanics were not suited one bit for it. The simple but fun stealth gameplay buried underneath layers of symbolism and confusing puzzles. It left fans wondering what happened to the game we were promised. Chapter 3: The AI that was more hype than reality. One of Hello Neighbor's biggest marketing hooks, at least in the second game, was the advanced adaptive AI. It was supposed to learn from you, predict your moves, set traps based on your habits. This was actually very interesting, and I talked all about it to friends and family when they were marketing this stuff. Now, mostly for Hello Neighbor 2. But the same thing goes for Hello Neighbor 1. In the video for Hello Neighbor 1, when they were showing its AI, they said it would check places that you've been in based on percentage. Say you've always hidden this closet 100% of the time, he would check that 100% of the time. But in that video, there's a small clip of him checking a bed that you've been in 0% of the time. So clearly, this AI was very unpredictable, but most people didn't catch that. But the YouTubers just were excited. This was the future all of them were most excited about. It sounded absolutely revolutionary. But in the final game, the AI didn't feel smart. Not one bit. It felt random. Checking things that you haven't been in at all. Setting traps right off the get-go. And just triggering. Being annoying. Jumping. Making that hot sound over and over again. And it just felt completely useless. Sometimes Neighbor would chase you across the entire map with inhuman accuracy. Other times he gets stuck running into a wall like he forgot how legs worked. He would place traps in weird locations, teleport literally behind you to jump scare you while you're looking for some sort of key peacefully upstairs while you know the neighbor is downstairs. Even though he teleported. Or just he'll completely fail to notice you, breaking in through the window right in front of him. Instead of feeling like a cunning enemy adapting to your strategy, you felt like a glitchy NPC trying his best to pretend to be an AI. Anyways, the AI wasn't challenging. It was inconsistent. And when your entire game is built around a single enemy, that inconsistency is absolutely fatal. Chapter 4. The Puzzle Catastrophe. If you ask players what frustrated them most about Hello Neighbor, this is the answer almost everyone gives. The puzzles. And not because they were difficult, but because they were completely illogical. The alphas had simple, grounded objectives. Find a key, unlock a door, get a tool, reach the basement. The final game threw all that out the window. Literally. Here are real examples of puzzles in Hello Neighbor. Use a giant magnet to pull objects through a wall or small gap. Shoot mannequins with a toy gun to activate a contraption. Navigate giant dreamlike environments. Climb out onto out-of-bounds rooftops. Complete physics challenges with barely any hints. None of these feel connected to breaking into your neighbor's house. And because the puzzles lacked real clues, players didn't feel clever solving them. They just felt lucky. Or, if they failed, unlucky. This led to players getting stuck, frustrated, or immediately searching for walkthroughs on YouTube. And when a game pushes you to YouTube tutorials every 10 minutes, the immersion is already dead. Chapter 5, the modding community that saved the game. But even while the official game struggled, one part of the community kept Hello Neighbor alive. The modders. Modders created custom houses, new puzzles, entirely new levels, remakes of alpha builds, high quality fan expansions, and many of these stuck to the original ideas of Hello Neighbor. Many of these mods were smoother, more logical, more interesting than the official release. In fact, for many fans, the modding scene became the real Hello Neighbor experience. It kept the spirit of the alphas alive. Creativity, freedom, exploration, without the confusing changes in the main game. If Hello Neighbor ever reaches its true potential, it's almost guaranteed the modding community will have inspired many of it. Chapter 6. Story buried under symbolism. Hello Neighbor actually has a deep story. It deals with trauma, loss, guilt, childhood fears, and how the mind tries to protect itself from unbearable memories. The problem? the story isn't told clearly. It's hidden behind dream sequences, metaphors, and abstract symbolism. The average player sees a giant shadow monster and goes, "What am I looking at?" Even though they're trying to represent fear of the main character, Nikki Roth. Fans waited years for answers after the alphas, but the final story left them with more questions than they started with. This left players feeling disconnected, like the emotional impact of the story was locked behind a wall of confusion. The story wasn't bad, it was just buried within a prequel, which I might talk about in another video. Chapter 7. Rushed releases and franchise overload. As Hello Neighbor grew more popular, the developers started expanding the brand at full speed. Soon after release, they were planning out mobile ports, console versions, merch lines, books, a cartoon series, spin-offs, and multiple sequels. This level of expansion usually happens after the main game becomes a hit, not after it fails, but it actually didn't fail. At least it appealed to a younger audience of millions of kids, giving them the right to create more. The franchise grew fast. Faster than the foundation could support, and the pressure showed. The final release felt rushed, unpolished, buggy, and often inconsistent. When a game is trying to be a multimedia empire before it's even a stable product, quality takes the hit. Chapter 8. The audience disconnect. The original alphas appealed to older players, horror fans, theory crafters, and explorers. But the later game shifted towards, like I said, a younger audience. Bright colors, cartoonish design, a lighter tone. Again, not a bad direction on its own, but it wasn't the direction fans signed up for. But this left the franchise in an awkward spot. Kids love the characters, adults miss the atmosphere, and neither got the version of Hello Neighbor they wanted. The identity crisis hurt the series more than anything else. Chapter 9. Can Hello Neighbor 3 fix everything? So is Hello Neighbor 3 the franchise chance to come back? Honestly, yes. It might be. Every fan discussions say the right combination would be a ground mystery vibe of the alphas, a real working AI, logical puzzles, a consistent tone, a story told clearly, and full modding support from day one of release. If Hello Neighbor 3 leans into what made the original alpha so magical and tries to stop reinventing itself every game, the series can finally reach its full potential. The core idea is still brilliant. It always was. A stealth horror game about breaking into your neighbor's house or figuring a small town mystery. The concept is timeless. Hello Neighbor 3 could be the moment the franchise finally becomes what it was always meant to be. And maybe, just maybe, we'll finally get the game we're all dreaming about back in Alpha 1. I hope you enjoyed this video, but please like and subscribe. It would mean the world to me if we could get to 100 subscribers. But anyways, see you gamers.